as entrepreneurs, handed the gift of this massive disruption for many of us, myself included. The way we did business no longer exists.
Andy Bailey at Petra Coach has seen everything before. Now, while the exact circumstance may be a little bit different, recessions and economic volatility have been with us forever. So, how does he advise his CEO clients to a better than ever recovery? Hi, my name is Andre Chandra, founder and CEO of Propelo Media. Leaders rise up in challenging times. In today's Ask an Expert series, we're joined by Andy Bailey. Before he became a full-time CEO whisperer, Andy was in their shoes. He started and scaled a company called NationLink Wireless into an Inc. 500 company. He believes that a mix of listening, observing, and a dash of creativity can transform your company into something you might not even dream possible. Listen to what he says. Well, Andy Bailey, welcome to our vodcast. Thank you for being our guest here.
I'm happy to be here.
It's good to see you. Yeah. Now you are what I call a CEO whisperer. You're with you founded this company called Petra Coach. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and your company here?
Yeah, sure. So we have the privilege of working with organizations all over the world. We actually have an office in Nashville, an office in London. At the outset, what we do is we help companies scale or grow. Since March 13th, COVID shut us down kind of March 13th. We've been helping them like survive so that they can grow into the future. But very much so that kind of scale, going from where you are to where you want to go with companies is how, it's how we position the work that we do. We also understand that it starts with the individual, with the human being inside of the organization, whether that be the top CEO leader of the organization or the person that's on the very front line that does the work every single day. Those are the people that we have to engage. Those people must become better in order for us to achieve scale in an organization. So we talk about scale of an organization and we work on the person themselves.
Yes, absolutely. Well, as a matter of fact, you gave me this book a couple of years ago, and I heard you speak at our entrepreneurs organization event. And one of the big takeaways that I did, personally, was to take better control of not just the company, but family and also the self. So one of the things that you talked about, improving the self is having the discipline to take care of your physical health. So I started working out daily and lost 20 pounds and feel better than ever.
Rock on. That was like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, for the audience, can you tell us a little bit more about this book, No Try, Only Do? So just the gist of what you communicated in that book.
Yeah, I jokingly say I wrote that book so that people would stop asking me about myself. Because that's really what that book is. It's really 3 parts. And I wrote it in a way that I'll talk about in just a second to make it very easy to read because people don't like to read. The first part is kind of my background. So it talks about all the way back from childhood and, bullying when I was a kid and kind of how I grew up and how I started a wireless company and how I screwed it up in the beginning and then how I recreated it based on the Rockefeller habits and then how I ultimately exited it. So it's kind of my progression, my 18-year period there. And then into how did I grow Petra Coach, as you mentioned, the coaching organization, and then in case studies. But I wrote it, when you on page 3, it says, if you're a high D personality or an A-type person, skip to page 135 and start there, right? So all the, kind of heavy content's in the very back and it gets to the point. If you like stories, start from the beginning. So you can read that in a couple of different segments, either really quick, over 30 minutes, or maybe over 3 hours, up to you.
Right. Now, what's unique about Petra Coach is everyone in your organization have been in the CEOs or the entrepreneur's shoes. They're the ones who have scaled their companies and exited. Now, related to this COVID pandemic, what have you been hearing the most from CEOs in the last few months, and kind of reflecting back, with your experience from before, is this something that you've heard before, or you genuinely believe that, this is new, it's never been experienced before?
It's not new. It's just incredibly accentuated. All right. So it's just, and here's the point that I'll make about it. And if you think about it for a second, you see it all the time. You do it yourself. I do it. I do this presentation now, webinar, obviously, where there's a slide in there that talks about pick a target, right? And entrepreneurs, leaders, business people wake up all the time. We get into a room, we say, hey, we're here, we're going there, get behind me, man. We're going as fast as we can, right? We don't really think about what's the economy doing too much, or, what's this thing, what's the effect, right? We don't really care. In the past, before pre-COVID, we didn't really care a whole lot about what the world told us was what we could do. We just set up a target and we did the work and we achieved things. Like it was just the entrepreneurial way, right? That's the one thing that I see that is now like 10x'd. People have stopped doing that. So in the past, it was about comfort. People had got comfortable and they had stopped chasing the next big thing, or stopped iterating and innovating, or stopped growing a business. They were happy with 15% when they could have 50%. Now it's like they've stopped completely. I had a conversation just a little while ago with someone who was in the commercial build out space. So they decked out your offices with all the really cool things inside of your offices. And the guy was just completely freaked out and worried about, how long is it going to take for my business to rebound? And I'm like, dude, you are in the deck out a commercial office space business. You need to get into the undecking out of a commercial office space business,
right,
quickly as possible. He's like, what do you mean? I don't understand. Like everybody's frozen in this, I can't make a decision phase. So that's the kind of context of, historically with entrepreneurs, early on in the career, they just scale pretty quickly. And then they reach these little pinnacles where they can no longer make decisions, either through fear or complacency. I don't want to lose what I have, so I'm not going to continue to scale. Now it's because they've just got all this kind of crazy noise around them that they're not making these choices. So we got to make sure that we're picking a target and we're moving towards it. And that will make us automatically be innovative along the
way. Right. Now, but certainly, post-pandemic, a lot of businesses need to rethink or change the way they do business, maybe temporarily, maybe, forever from now on. What is your advice, if entrepreneurs are always looking for opportunities, right? We are very resilient. And talking to different CEOs, what kind of opportunities that, CEOs and entrepreneurs can spot and be able to really take advantage of, especially these days?
Yeah, I think we talk about 2x and 10x a lot. Like 2xing a business, you go from 2 million to 4 million. 10xing a business, go from 2 million to 20 million. The thing about 10x in a business is it's impossible to 10x a business doing the business the same way you've been doing it. Like you've got to completely destroy what you've been doing and do it completely different. Sometimes a different market, sometimes a different customer, sometimes different operations, certainly different like software programs, right? Mm. So I think this is an opportunity, and it's like a 10x moment. And what I mean by that is we've been handed, as entrepreneurs, the gift of this massive disruption. For many of us, myself included, the way we did business no longer exists. 2019, our company had 3,200 flights. Since March the 13th, we haven't been on a flight, except a couple of private planes. That's about it. So March the 15th, that Monday, we had to start our business completely over, brand new, because it got torn away from us. So that gift of leaving the past behind in order to create the future. I can't drag the past with me to reset and go forward. So I think that's the way we have to look at this.
Right.
As far as your question around, where to go, that's an interesting question. It's probably easier to look and say where not to go, right? So I think we can identify some areas of where not to go. The process that I would ask someone to go through is to think of it in these buckets. So the first bucket would be, what are the strengths of your business, right? What are the assets of your business? Then build yourself a list of really clear list. Or what are the things that we do better than anybody else in the industry that brings value to the market, right? So the strengths. And then build yourself a weaknesses column. And what I mean in the weaknesses column is a little different. What are the weaknesses that are inherent and not going away with our business? So you get a good picture of, kind of what are our assets? What are we dealing with? And then above that, make yourself a list of the trends. A trend's going to be working from home, working remote, working from anywhere, right? We know that's going to be a long-term trend. So that's going to be a trend. The resurgence of rural America is going to be a trend. People are going to be leaving the cities. You've been locked down in San Francisco, right? There will be people leaving the cities that are going to want to go live somewhere else outside of the city after this. We know that's going to be a trend. That's going to be a trend. What are all of the trends, right? And then you triangulate your strengths. This is my asset bucket.
Mm-hmm.
And my weaknesses, I'm going to have to play with these weaknesses. I'm not 8 feet tall. I can't play in the NBA. I got that. It's a weakness. And then the trends sit here. So I can triangulate those two things up to the trends and help me pick better targets and where I'm going to go. So I can make decisions in that particular aspect.
Right. And you just brought up an aha moment, in my head, because as you put it, when companies try to do 2x, 5x, and 10x, they have to kind of rebuild the processes and the systems. And right now it's just shoved upon us, without us asking for them. But this could be a moment to have that transformation.
It's absolutely, I put a note up here, and I put it up here at the very beginning of this thing. It says return to better, right? And so it's not, I keep hearing people say, we got to return, like the guy with the deck out your office company. When am I going to be able to deck out offices again? I'm like, dude, you're probably never going to be decking out offices like you were prior to this pandemic. Commercial real estate's probably going to have some challenges for a long while. What else are you going to do? Let's figure it out, right? So unfortunately and fortunately, and I think it's more fortunate than unfortunate, we have this opportunity to go do maybe even what we know we should have been doing in the first place. Like for my business, I looked at we got a little bit comfortable. I knew a long time ago that we needed to be more online. We needed to be more, in the virtual space. But because we were so busy doing everything else, traveling around the world, doing things, we never got around to it. Well, now we're forced to.
Right. Yeah. Now, when you read the news, there's a lot of people talking about recoveries, comeback strategies. Is it going to be a V-shaped rebound? What signals are you looking for, or what signals do you advise entrepreneurs to look for, and what should they do first?
I'm going to take that. I'll take it in two different ways. So first of all, I think the economy is going to be fine. It's going to be up. It's going to be down. We're going to have some ups. We're going to have some downs. But I think the underlying structure of the economy is solid.
Right.
The economy is going to be fine. Now, what's inside of that economy is not going to be fine. There's going to be sectors of businesses that go completely away. And there are going to be sectors of businesses that boom, and new sectors yet to be created that boom even bigger. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, if this is the bucket of things that are going to die because of this pandemic, and this disruption, and these are the things that are going to grow, the economy is going to be okay, right? Second part of that would be my comment earlier around, when was the last time how long have you been in business? How long have you been running your company?
8 years plus now.
Okay, so in year two, did you do a lot of statistical analysis about the economy and what was happening in the economy and predicting 6 months out in the economy? Did you do any of that too?
Not really, just
No, that's my
right.
point.
Yeah.
That's my point, right? So when I'm looking at this, that's the paralyzation thing that I keep talking about. We're sitting around going, all right, so our case is going to go up in COVID, or they're going to go down. We're trying to predict the damn future when we've never, as entrepreneurs, we've never cared about that in the past. We didn't sit around and listen to CNN and CNBC and read all this stuff to predict the economic future. We just built our damn companies. We picked a target. We're going from 2 million to 4 million, and we built a path and we went and did the work, right? So I think that's the way we have to get back to it. We can't wait for the economy to tell us what to go do. We are entrepreneurs. Our job is to go do these things. Go do them.
Right, right. Now, Andy, you're one of the most organized, most disciplined person I've known. Now, and some, some entrepreneurs or some businesses may say, well, retail's just being hammered. When do we know how to quit?
Yeah, so not all retail's being hammered.
Right. Well, say you're a restaurant, especially here in California, it's definitely different. Your capacity, your turn time and everything is just a lot slower. And maybe many can't survive. My question is, when do you know how to quit? Okay, I'm an entrepreneur. I can, I have a lot of ideas. I can do this again. I'll come back with another business. Or should we just keep trying, and weather the storm and see if we come out of it on the other side?
I coach a company in Mexico, right? So one of the largest furniture distributors in the country of Mexico, furniture. Mm-hmm. So think about that. That's going to a store, pick a couch, talk to a salesperson, buy the couch, have 3 guys in a truck deliver it, set it up in your home space, right? So that's in Mexico now. So Mexico was 30 days behind the U.S. and kind of when COVID picked up. Shut down all of his stores are closed. He can't sell any furniture. I'm talking to this guy. He's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So within 3 weeks, he took his last 24 months customer list. He took all of his internal people and he put them on the phone. And he created this really cool magazine that had a brochure magazine thing that had all of the furniture in it. So he was calling all those people who happen to be staying at home with their shitty furniture. People are calling him. Hey, we've got specials on furniture right now. We could have it delivered to your house tomorrow. We're going to, here's a magazine, here's a catalog. Let me get it in your inbox. Let's pick some stuff out right now, man. 25% increase in sales year over year. 25% increase in sales year over year. No retail sales whatsoever. So this guy went from retail to basically online in 24 hours and rose his sales by 25%. They got really, really creative in his thought process. My point is, I think everybody has to go do that. If you've got a restaurant that's shut down because people can't come into the restaurant, you're going to have to figure out what is restaurant 2.0 or maybe 5.0. I don't know the answer to the restaurant question. I don't know the answer to the hotel question, which I've been asked by both industries quite a bit. We have a restaurant chain in New Orleans that is doing not just home delivery, but alcohol party home delivery. Like they come in and they set up with a chef and they bring the restaurant to your house. Right. But they've just gotten incredibly creative with the way that they do what they do, and they're finding opportunity in this. There's an image that I show in a presentation that has the word crisis and the word crisis in Mandarin. and it has the word danger and the word danger in Mandarin and the word opportunity and the word opportunity in Mandarin. And in the word crisis, the same symbols exist in each of these.
For both, yeah.
And the point with this is, in crisis, there are equal parts danger, there are equal parts opportunity, and we should pay attention to, yes, the danger because it's scary, but we have to equally pay attention to the opportunity. And that's what we're not doing as an entrepreneurial city.
All right. Well, is there anything that I haven't asked or forgot to ask that you'd like to share?
Oh man, I like when you just ask me, like, answer this kind of question. I think I'll say this. The pandemic with COVID-19 is obviously a health crisis in the world. I believe that the next health crisis in the world will be a mental health crisis. We don't go through something of this magnitude without some level of PTSD, all of us, on the other side. It's going to be real. And listeners, leaders, especially if you have companies and homes, the one thing that I encourage you to do, yeah, you got to get yourself out of all this stuff, but take care of those people around you because they're going to be struggling with things as well.
All right. Well, that's great advice. That's very wise. All right. Well, Andy, I really appreciate you being our guest today. I just want to wish you continued success. You've shared with me how you yourself transform your company, and you're encouraging others to do the same. So I wish you the best, and we'll have to talk soon, maybe in a year or so, and we'll do a recap.
Perfect. Let me know.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.